What if the scariest thing about the From Season 4 finale is not that Fatima became a monster, or that Elgin was killed, or even that the talismans were stolen? What if the real horror is that the residents finally reached a part of the game they were never supposed to reach? Because by the end of the finale, it feels like Fromville did not just change, it reacted. The town pushed back, and the man in yellow made his next move, because for the first time in a very long time, he might actually be in danger of losing. Before we go deep into the theory, let's quickly recap what the finale really gave us. Jade and Tabitha finally escaped the tunnels with the bones of the Anghkooey children. The boy in white confronted the man in yellow and told them he was going to lose this time. Boyd and the others pulled the bottle tree from its roots, hoping it would help save Jade and Tabitha, but instead, that decision seemed to damage the structure of the town. The sky turned dark, the monsters came out early, and the entire place started behaving like a broken machine. At the same time, Sophia removed the talismans from the houses and threw them into the faraway tree. Elgin died after getting too close to the truth, and Fatima finally crossed into something monstrous. So yes, the residents made progress, but they may have triggered the most dangerous phase of the cycle. The most important part of the finale is the conversation between the boy in white and the man in yellow. When the boy in white says, "You're going to lose this time," that line tells us more than it seems. It means this has happened before. It means the boy in white has probably watched many cycles fail, and it means the man in yellow has been winning for a very long time. That is why the word game matters so much. The man in yellow told Tabitha that they had played this game so many times. He was not just talking about one escape attempt. He was talking about a repeating pattern where people arrive in the town, search for answers, get close to the truth, and then die before they can finish the job. That is why the lighthouse dates are so important. If the numbers go back as far as 1506, then Fromville may have been trapping people for centuries. But the cycles do not seem to end on a neat schedule. They seem to end when the residents are wiped out. Every batch of people comes in, plays its role, gets tested, and eventually gets destroyed. But this time is different because the residents have something previous cycles may never have had: the bones of the Anghkooey children. And this is where Victor becomes one of the most important characters in the entire story. Victor survived the previous massacre, and that makes him more than just a traumatized man who's been trapped in the town for decades. He may be the leftover piece from the last cycle. The big question is whether he survived by accident or because the town needed him to survive. If every cycle leaves behind one person to guide the next group, then Victor's role suddenly makes a lot more sense. He remembers just enough to help people, but not enough to completely solve the mystery. He becomes a living warning, a guide, and maybe even a bridge between cycles. That also makes Ethan's future terrifying. If the current cycle fails, Ethan could become the next Victor. He's a child, he understands stories, he's connected to the Lake of Tears, and he keeps noticing things that adults ignore. If everyone else dies and Ethan survives, then he may become the guide for the next group of residents. That would be one of the darkest possible endings, because it means the cycle doesn't just kill people, it keeps one person alive long enough to carry the trauma forward. Now, about the bottle tree. This is where the finale becomes tricky because the tree plan did help move the story forward, but it also made everything worse. Boyd and the others pulled the bottle tree from its roots because they believed it might help rescue Jade and Tabitha from the tunnels. But removing the tree did not directly save Jade and Tabitha the way Boyd hoped. It damaged the town's structure, created chaos, and forced another power to intervene. That other power may be the Anghkooey children. When Jade and Tabitha were trapped in the tunnels, the monsters nearly reached them more than once, but then the earthquakes happened at exactly the right moments. One earthquake could be random. Two earthquakes feel intentional. It's possible the children's spirits were protecting Jade and Tabitha because they're the only ones who can complete the mission. The children can't free themselves, but they may still be able to influence the town in small ways. And once their bones were gathered, their connection to Jade and Tabitha may have become stronger. Still, the bones are not the final answer by themselves. The man in yellow basically said they found the key but not the lock. That's the perfect way to explain where the story is now. Jade and Tabitha have the most important object, but they don't know yet what to do with it. They recovered the bones, but they haven't completed the ritual. And because Fromville was built on a ritual, the method matters. It's not enough to have the right pieces. They have to be used in the right place, at the right time, in the right way. And that is why the Lake of Tears feels like the next major location. Ethan has been talking about it since the beginning, and when Jim appeared after his death, he told Ethan to find it. That can't be a throwaway detail. The Lake of Tears may be where the bones have to go. Maybe they need to be buried there, maybe they need to be burned and released there. Maybe the lake is connected to the first ritual that trapped the children in the town. Whatever the exact answer is, the story is clearly pushing us towards that place. Jim's role after death also deserves attention. I wouldn't say he came back to life because that makes it sound physical. It feels more like Jim's spirit is trapped inside Fromville and trying to communicate. After his death, there were strange invisible disturbances around the Matthews family, and in the finale, when Ethan and Julie were afraid Tabitha wouldn't come back, another unseen presence seemed to make itself known. That could easily be Jim trying to tell his children that their mother was still alive. If that is true, then death in Fromville doesn't free anyone. It traps them in another layer of the nightmare. Fatima's transformation is another major part of the endgame, but it should be understood carefully. Fatima hasn't simply switched sides emotionally. Her body may now belong to the monster world, but her heart is still with Ellis, Boyd, and the others. That's what makes her situation tragic. She has become something unnatural, but she still uses that power to protect the people she loves. In the finale, she stops the monsters long enough for the others to escape, and that proves she's not completely gone. But the danger is obvious. If Sophia's blood helped accelerate her transformation, then Sophia may also have some level of influence over her. Fatima could become a weapon without wanting to be one. She may be able to resist for a while, but we don't know how long that resistance can last. Her words to Ellis, asking him to remember who she was, sound like someone who knows she may not survive as herself. Even if the residents win, Fatima might not get a happy ending. She may be too connected to the monster side now. Elgin's death matters because he was one of the few people close to exposing Sophia. He had the photograph. He noticed something was wrong. He was beginning to connect the dots. That made him dangerous, so Sophia removed him from the board. But Elgin may still help the residents after death, because if someone finds that photograph, it could expose the truth, and Clara could also become important here. She's helping Sophia because she believes she might be sent home, but if she realizes she's been lied to, she could turn against her. And if Clara talks, the residents may finally learn who has been manipulating them from inside the town. The talismans being stolen may be the most immediate threat. Sophia wouldn't remove them if they were useless. That means they probably still worked, or at least could still protect the residents in some way. By throwing them into the faraway tree, she took away the one thing that gave people safety at night. And the worst part is that most of the residents don't even know it yet. They may only discover it when it's already dark, when the monsters are already coming, and when there's nowhere left to hide. This is why the next season could begin with panic and blame. The residents are already close to breaking. Patty's reaction when the sky turned dark showed how thin everyone's hope has become. Boyd started the season counting bullets because deep down, he understood that some people might choose death over another night of terror. And now, with the talismans gone and the bottle tree destroyed, people will need someone to blame. That person will probably be Jade. His younger self warned him that what he was about to do would turn the town against him. Now we understand why. Jade pushed for the plan that led to the bottle tree being pulled down, and even though his goal was to save people and recover the bones, the residents may not see it that way. Fear doesn't care about good intentions. If people die because the town has changed, they may decide Jade is responsible. This is where Julie's storywalking becomes crucial. Jade and Tabitha have the bones, but they don't know the full ritual. Julie may be the one to travel into the past and see how this nightmare began. Through her, the show can reveal Miranda, Eloise, Martin, the first residents, and maybe even the original sacrifice of the children. She may also discover the truth about Sophia and help expose what has been hiding in plain sight. So the finale is not just setting up another season, it's setting up the final collapse of the current cycle. The residents are closer than ever to winning because they finally have the bones, but they're also more vulnerable than ever because the talismans are gone, the town's structure is damaged, Fatima is changing, Elgin is dead, and Sophia is still moving pieces around the board. The boy in white believes the man in yellow can lose this time, but the man in yellow has already started the beginning of the end. And now the real question is not just whether the residents can escape, the real question is whether they can finish the ritual before fear, monsters, and betrayal destroy them first. Because if they fail, the board may reset again, and Ethan may become the next lonely child left behind to welcome the next doomed group into